Good day, everyone. My name is Pia Caril de la Riria, and today I would like to discuss a topic that affects millions of people worldwide, which is visual impairment. Visual impairment is a term used to describe a wide array of visual disorders, which can range from mild vision loss to complete blindness. It's an issue that deeply impacts the lives of those affected, altering their ability to perform everyday tasks that many of us take for granted. So speaking of visual impairment, it's impossible not to mention one of the most influential figures in this field, Louis Braille. Despite being visually impaired himself, Braille didn't let his condition hinder him. Instead, he used it as a motivation to create something revolutionary. So Louis Braille was born on January 4, 1809 at Courtrai when he was 3 years old. He poked one of his eyes with a sharp poker's tool, causing severe damage. Consequently, an infection set in and spread to both of his eyes, resulting in total blindness at the age of 5. At that time, there were not many resources in place for the blind, but he nevertheless excelled in his education and received a scholarship to France Royal Institution for Blind Youth. While still a student there, he began developing a system of tactile code, which is the Braille system. It could allow blind people to read and write quickly and efficiently. He presented his work to his peers for the first time in 1824, when he was 15 years old. In adulthood, Braille served as a professor at the institute and had a vocation as musician, but he largely spent the remainder of his life refining and extending his system. It went unused by most educators for many years after his death, but posterity has recognized Braille as a revolutionary invention, and it has been adapted for use in languages worldwide. The first system, devised by the school founder Valentin Henry, he designed and manufactured a small library of books for the children by embossing heavy paper with the raised imprints of Latin letter. The second system is the communication system devised by Charles Babbage. It was a code of up to 12 dots in 2 columns impressed into thick paper. So the third one is Decapoint. Combine his method of dot punching with a new specialized wheel which Braille devised to overlay the paper. When used with an associated number table, the wheel could permit a blind writer to faithfully reproduce the standard alphabet. So now, I will going to tackle the symptoms of visual impairment. So the first one symptoms is severe throbbing eye pain. The second one is headache. The third one is blurred vision. The fourth one is rainbow halos around lights. The fifth one is red eyes. And the sixth one is nausea. And the last one is vomiting. Vision loss can be caused by various factors, including infections, accident, genetic condition, and other diseases. Here's how each can lead to visual impairment. The first factor is infection. Eye infection can cause vision loss if they are not treated promptly. This infection can affect different parts of the eye, including the cornea or the keratitis, the eye interior or the endothelitis, or the retina or the retinitis. Severe infection can lead to permanent damage to these areas, resulting in vision loss. So the second factor is accident. Trauma to the eye can lead to vision loss. This can include blunt force trauma, chemical burns, or perforating injury. This accident can result in retinal detachment, corneal scarring, or damage to the optic nerve, all of which can cause permanent vision loss. The third factor is genetic condition. Certain genetic condition can lead to vision loss. These include retinitis pigmentosa, Stargardt's disease, and certain forms of glaucoma and macular degeneration. This condition can cause progressive damage to the retina or the optic nerve, leading to gradual vision loss. So the fourth factors is other diseases. Many diseases can cause vision loss. For example, diabetes can lead to diabetic retinopathy, where high blood sugar levels cause damage to the blood vessels in the retina. The other example is glaucoma, a condition caused by increased pressure within the eye, can damage the optic nerve and result in vision loss. Age-related macular degeneration, a common condition in older adults, causes damage to the central part of the retina, leading to loss of central vision.
After the visual impairment, now let's move on to the hearing impairment. Hearing impairment is a person who have a hearing loss. The term hearing impaired is often used to describe people with any degree of hearing loss, from mild to profound, including those who are deaf and those who are hard of hearing. We have here an example of a person who have hearing impairment, which is Marlene Macklin. She is born August 24, 1965 in Morton Grove, Illinois. Marlene was only 18 months old when an illness permanently destroyed all hearing in her right ear, and 80% of hearing in her left ear, making her legally deaf. So her parents chose to educate Marlene in their community rather than sending her to a special school. She began to use a sign language at the age of 5, but her parents struggled. Sign language are the languages that used in the visual manual modality to convey meaning instead of spoken word. So as a child, Macklin discovered acting through a program at the Center of Deafness that brought deaf and hearing kids together. She landed her first leading role as Dorothy in a production of The Wizard of Oz with the Children's Theatre Company in Chicago. So Marlene Macklin continued to pursue her acting into adulthood while also earning a degree of law enforcement at Harper College. So now let's move on to the symptoms of hearing impairment. First is the difficulty understanding speech. Second, asking others to repeat themselves frequently. Third, turning up the volume on electronic devices. Fourth, experiencing muffled or distorted sounds. And lastly, the difficulty localizing sounds. Of course, there are the causes of hearing impairment, which are the first, genetic factors, a basic physical unit of the heredity process. Number 2 is the exposure to loud noises, so it can lead to permanent hearing loss. Third is the certain medications, so it is the medicine or drugs. Fourth, infection. Fifth is aging. Sixth is ear injuries. And lastly, the congenital, which is the present from birth. So now, how can we deal with learners with hearing impairment? So, working with learners who have hearing loss or impairment, it is important to create an inclusive and supportive learning environment, using visual aids and gestures to supplement verbal communication, providing written instructions and materials, ensuring good lighting and minimizing background noise, and using assisted listening devices such as hearing aids or cochlear implants. It is crucial to remember that each student is unique, so individualized support and accommodations may be necessary. It was ability that mattered, not disability. Own your identity, love who you are in the world.
Now let's proceed to speech impairment. Speech impairment is a condition that affects the ability to produce a speech sound. It can range from mild, such as occasionally mispronouncing a few words, to severe, where an individual is not able to produce speech sounds at all. This condition can significantly affect communication and may lead to social isolation, embarrassment, and shame.
One of the persons who have speech impairment is Winston Churchill. Winston Churchill was born on November 30, 1874 at his family's ancestral home, Belgian Palace in Oxfordshire. He began boarding at St. George's School in Ascot, Berkshire at the age of 7, but was not academic and his behavior was poor. In 1884, he transferred to Brunswick School in Hove, where his academic performance improved. At the age of 13, he narrowly passed the entrance exam for the Harrow School. His father wanted him to prepare for a military career, and so his last 3 years in Harrow were in Army Corps. Winston Churchill's speech impediment was an lisp, which caused him difficulty in pronouncing letters. This specific speech defect affected his ability to articulate certain words accurately, particularly the sound S. Despite his speech impediment, Winston Churchill was known for his powerful and inspiring speeches during his time as a Prime Minister in the United Kingdom. He used a special pair of dentures. These dentures were specifically designed to preserve Winston Churchill's lisp, which had become familiar to British public through his broadcasts.
And now I will discuss about the symptoms of speech impairment. We have stuttering. What is stuttering? Stuttering, it is spoken with or characterized by stutter. It means you speak continued and voluntary repetition of sounds or especially initial consonant by adding word called interjection. For example, I need to go home is I need to go home, or repetition whole words. Instead, you said cookies and milk is cookies, cookies and milk. Or instead, you said he was 4 years old is he was 4 years old. Stuttering is talking to people can be hard if you stutter. You may stuck in a certain words or sound and you may feel tense or uncomfortable. Second is difficulty pronouncing word. Difficulty pronouncing word is called dysentery. People with dysentery have a problems in swallowing and also have problems to move his tongue, jaw, or lip, so that their sound is robotic and choppy. The third one is slurred speech. It is a speech disorder which is your pronunciation of the word is mumbling or it changes speed or rhythm during conversation. And also it's difficult to volume your voice, so you may speak too loudly or too quietly. The fourth one is speaking too slowly or too quickly. People speaking too quickly is it loss of clarity, and also it is a sign of nervousness and lack of self-confidence. While people talking slowly is have a medical condition or have a speech disorder. And now, let's proceed at the causes of speech impairment. First, we have neurological disorders such as Alzheimer's disease, epilepsy, trauma-related, multiple sclerosis, schizophrenia, and etc. Second is brain injury, like traumatic brain injury. A person who has traumatic brain injury is slow, slurred, difficult, or impossible to understand because their speech mechanisms are damaged. The third one is vocal cord abuse. People who have vocal cord abuse have cancer of the larynx, trauma, allergies, infections, and others. Fourth is stroke. Aphasia is a language disorder caused by stroke. People have stroke are difficult and it is struggle in communication. And last is psychological disorder such anxiety, depression, cognitive disorder, and others. Speech pauses are related to depression and other psychiatric conditions. When people speak, they have long pauses before or she continue his words or messages. Dealing with learners with speech impairment. Here are some practical strategies including encouraging open communication and patience, providing extra time for students to express their thoughts, and utilizing assistive technology if needed.
Multiple physical impairment refers to individuals who have more than one serious disability which may affect mobility, behavior, emotion, or sensory abilities.
Good day everyone! Today we have here a successful person who has an illness of multiple physical impairment. She is Helen Adams Keller. Helen Adams Keller, born on June 27, 1880 in Tuscumbia, Alabama, the daughter of Arthur Henley Keller and Catherine Everett Adams Keller, also known as Kate. Helen at 10 months old was a bright and joyful child, but when she is 19 months old, Helen contracted an unknown illness described by doctors as an acute congestion of stomach and brain, and the doctor believed it is meningitis. The illness made Keller both deaf and blind. By the age of 7, Helen had more than 60 home signs to communicate with her family and could distinguish people by the vibration of their footsteps. One day, Helen's mother decided to give her the right for education, but her father believed that Helen's condition is hopeless to acquire knowledge, but her mother pursued and didn't lose hope for her. Annie Sullivan stands as a teacher for Helen, and even though it is hard for her to teach this kind of student, she keeps believe in the saying of language is more important to mind than to the eye. Annie Sullivan remained Helen's teacher for the rest of her life. Helen Keller graduated from Radcliffe College with an honor and became a world-famous advocate for social equality. She was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom.
Helen Keller uses tactile sign language, which she uses her hands over those signers to follow what's being communicated through touch and movement. Secondly, she applied the manual alphabet. It is a system of using hand shapes to represent letters. This allowed her to spell out words and communicate with others who knew the alphabet. Thirdly, she uses a system raised dots, which called Braille. Those dots represent letters in words. As part of it, she used a special device called Braille Writer to write her own books and articles. Then, she used tactile maps to understand geography and navigate the surroundings. These maps had raised lines and textures that Keller could feel to understand different locations and landmarks. Lastly, she practiced speech training, which helped her to develop her oral communication skills. She learned to speak by feeling the vibrations of sounds and imitating the movements of her teacher's lips and throat. Therefore, the symptoms of the multiple physical impairment is if the person or individual is experiencing more than one physical disability or impairment. The symptoms can vary widely depending on the specific disabilities involved. The person or individual having difficulty with mobility, difficulty in coordination, difficulty with muscle strength balance, and difficulty with fine motor skills. The causes of this are congenital conditions and acquired conditions. In order to deal with learners with multiple physical impairment, we have to ensure that the learning environment is physically accessible, there is a support, and it should foster social inclusion.